And just like that, we got some action. ESPN is reporting that February 1st, the 1st of February, has been earmarked for a very important fight, and a fight I know you guys want to see, the Battle of the Davids. Davids squared. David Benavidez Jr. versus David Morrell. According to this boxing reporter, his information, and he's with ESPN, Salvador Rodriguez, right? His information and sources are telling him that the date is February 1st, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, and they could actually announce the fight as early as next week, like do some kind of, press conference, kickoff conference with PBC. Wow. I mean, what can I say? I'm a longtime fan of both fighters. David Morrell, I put a lot of people on, and also David Benavidez, another terrific fighter. I don't want to hear any slander. I mean, you guys can make your fight predictions and stuff like that, but these two gentlemen, they deserve all the props in the world, especially David Benavidez. Well, both guys, but I'm going to give Benavidez a special shout out because Benavidez is a man's man, make no mistake about it. This reminds me of when he fought Demetrius Andrade and Caleb Plant. Like, he really didn't have to fight those guys. He could keep, fighting the Angulos, and he was supposed to fight Uzcategui. He could have rescheduled that, right? He could have fought those guys and kept chasing Canelo. People are saying he's chasing, and he kept going after that, and not worried about anything but trying to land, like basically play it safe, stay safe, and try to get a Canelo fight. He honestly could have done that. But instead, he moves up in weight and fights Alexander Vodstick. He's instead fighting Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, a guy that Canelo, payday, you want payday, I know that, avoided. Fighting Caleb Plant, which was a bad blood fight at the time. So you got to give max credit to David Benavidez for that. He's a dog, win, lose, or draw. He don't have to be doing this, and there's not that many fighters in this new market and new era that are moving like this, where he just like for example, David Benavidez has an action style, fast hands and these combinations and stuff like that. He's a buzzsaw. Sometimes you see fighters like that who are known for this like creative combos and dazzling offense, and then they'll make excuses of why they shouldn't fight certain styles like boxers, because styles make fights, and a lot of guys that are offensive minded struggle with technical boxers, cerebral fighters, guys with defense and stuff like that. Think Shakur Williams-Zepeda, right? That's why that should be a good battle, because it's a clash of styles, right? And instead of running away from the fire, you got David Benavidez who's running towards the fire. He's fighting Caleb Plant, who has, his nickname is Sweet Hands. He got slickness to him, He's rhythmic, right? And he got a lot of experience from beating Anthony Durrell and then doing that after he lost to Canelo. David Benavidez also fought Demetrius Andrade, and he stopped him. Nobody else did that. Nobody, a tricky southpaw. And then Benavidez had his way. He had his way with him. Pause. So I got to give props. Now, also want to give props to Morel, because he's so young in his career. He too doesn't have to do this. He's been calling out, saying he want to fight the best. He want to prove he's the best. He could easily be, because the Hot Rod fight was pretty tough. He moved up to 175. David Benavidez moved up to 175. They both have tough fights, right? Both guys don't really have to be doing this. So that's why I'm giving credit. He don't have that many fights. He could easily say like, oh, my first fight at 175 was tough. Look, he's 11-0. He has 11 fights, and he's fighting Benavidez. 11-0 with 9 KOs. Beast. 81% KO ratio. He's been wanting to fight Benavidez. He's been calling it out. I mean, this guy got 11 fights. It is what it is. He's a beast, you know. He's a beast that you don't oftentimes get. Like, this reminds me, PBC be doing this, though. Like, you got to give credit where credit's due. PBC, they got fights like Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, 2 undefeated fighters where they could have both went a different direction, but they gave us that fight. You know, David Benavidez and Andrade. They both could have went and, you know, tried to take some easy wins and stuff. They fought each other. Now David Benavidez, Morel, right? We also had, there's just a lot of fights like that. Like Gary Antoine Russell, he fought against Puello. These are good, dangerous fights. Frank Martin, when he fought against Michel Rivera. Like, that was another one that came to mind. Like, Michel Rivera was, you know, going through the division, and he was looking pretty good, and he was bigger than Frank Martin. And then they made the fight. You know, they didn't wait. They could have been like, oh, let's let it marinate and all that. So this is another one of them ones where they could have let it marinate, but instead the fans should be getting a very nice treat. You know, props to, I don't have nothing bad to say about either guy. And that punch is nasty. That's crazy. That's a nice shot. That's crazy. But I also respect that Benavidez particularly, but also Morel, he's actually putting Canelo to shame, in my opinion. He's putting Canelo to shame the way he's moving. Because, yes, Canelo got a great resume in its totality, but he's also been fighting since he was a preteen. You know what I mean? He was, you know, the Golden Boy with Golden Boy and Schaefer and PBC. So he's been in the game. He got 60 fights. So I would hope you have a good resume having that many fights. But the reason why I'm saying Benavidez is putting him to shame is because he's showing you how to move. He's not like soft shoeing until he want to smoke and he want the action. Both Benavidez keep fighting guys that we know Canelo don't want to fight, like Andrade and himself, you know, and we know Canelo wouldn't fight no Morel. So this is what you're supposed to do. He seen Canelo was like, oh, I want $200 million for $1 billion and all this stuff. And he seen that Canelo was kind of like playing games, really, and didn't want to give him a chance to give him opportunity. So he's carving out his own path. I have no choice but to respect that, and you should too. So it is not fully official from PBC, but these are good signs. We have heard the rumors that they would be fighting, and I can't wait. So stay tuned, watch this space, subscribe to the channel. I'll keep you guys updated.